Welcome to the Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all your Houston County news. I'm Megan Western. Now, each week we're taking you through what's happening in Houston County, Warner Robins, the Robbins Air Force Base, and your very own community. And this week we have new details in an investigation into a quadruple homicide in Perry. Wednesday afternoon, Perry Police Captain James Jones confirmed Michael Jordan is a person of interest in the case. Right now, he's in the Houston County Jail on aggravated stalking and drug distribution charges related to the homicides. Jones confirmed that Jordan was living at the mobile home, but wasn't supposed to be because he was on probation for a prior interaction with one of the victims. Jones says Jordan dated Taquandra Robinson, one of those victims. And when we talked to the family of the victims last week, they said that Jordan was also their person of interest. This week, Police Chief Alan Everidge told us his department could announce a charge in the case very soon.
We're waiting on a couple pieces of evidence to get processed, and it's just not a take a picture and oh, that's it. I know on television they saw Beverly homicide in the 60-minute episode. Yeah. They look at the dirt and they tell you that came from X, Y, and Z. That's just not real life. So.
Chief Everidge told us they've interviewed numerous people in this investigation, and again, he says they're waiting on evidence from a private crime lab before charging anyone with murder. And we're taking a closer look at overall crime in Perry. Numbers show a slight increase during 2024. Despite that increase, Chief Everidge says violent crime actually went down. Hunter King reports on the trends and what's behind the numbers.
Perry police responded to over 1,300 criminal incidents in 2024. This continues a 3-year upward trend from 1,100 cases in 2022. Chief Alan Everidge says the numbers tell a mixed story.
Our crimes against person in 2024 were down. Property crimes, thefts, they were up. A large percentage of those increases were in fraud type things.
Property crimes increased by more than 10% last year. Fraud cases jumped by 47%. Chief Everidge says many residents fall victim to various scams.
We continue to see citizens fall for various scams, either through phone calls or text messages.
The department reported 0 murders in 2024, down from 3 the previous year. Weapon violations also decreased by 39%. One statistic that raised questions, kidnapping cases increased from 2 to 12. The chief explains this reflects changes in how domestic incidents are classified.
If I grab you by the arm and move you from this room to that room, and that occurs in a domestic situation, that is kidnapping under Georgia law. You forcibly remove them. I think some of that's just based off of how we're titling things different.
He says the department maintains high clearance rates for serious crimes in Perry, with 100% of robberies solved and 95% of assaults. Now looking ahead, the department plans to focus on community relationships and narcotics enforcement. Everidge says most violent crimes are connected to drug activity. Reporting in Perry, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, Chief Everidge encourages anyone who receives suspicious calls, texts, or emails to contact the police department before giving out any of your personal information or sending money. The city's total crime rate is up around 12% since 2022. And hundreds showed up in Marshallville to support the grieving families. A fundraiser kicked off around 10 a.m. in downtown with volunteers serving food plates, baked goods, and washing cars. We told you the 4 victims originally lived in Macon County before moving to Perry. Event organizers say that every dollar raised from the event will directly support the family to help with funeral costs and other immediate needs.
We're always looking out for each other in Marshallville. So if the family goes through something, we try our best to come together for that particular family. So yeah, this is another event that we knew that the family needed us, so we came together.
The funerals for Beulah Robinson, Michelle Joyner, and Taquandra Robinson happened Thursday. Their services were held in Montezuma. And a lawsuit challenging why Houston County commissioners are elected is moving ahead with a big change. We've learned this month the county itself and its commissioners were removed from the lawsuit. Now it claims that at-large races for county commissioners where they're originally elected county-wide keeps black candidates out of office, but the county argued it doesn't oversee elections. The Board of Elections does. The federal lawsuit was filed by former President Biden's Department of Justice, but was dropped after President Trump came into office. 2 Houston County voters filed into the case when they're hoping to keep it alive. The attorneys for the voters disagreed, but allowed the county and commissioners to be dropped from the case. The suit against the Board of Elections continues to make its way through the court system. And a Warner Robins mother is pushing for change after an encounter between law enforcement and her autistic son. Joycelyn Patterson launched a petition that now has 28,000 signatures. She wants law enforcement officers to receive special training for interacting with people with autism. Hunter King has more on her mission.
The type of trainings that we need, it is not just getting on a piece of paper, reading it, and saying, oh, this is autism, this is what this means.
According to the CDC, 1 in 36 children now have autism. Joycelyn Patterson says that statistic drives her mission to change how law enforcement interacts with people on the spectrum. Patterson created Project BAM, which stands for A Better Approach to Autism and Mental Health. It all started with the traffic stop involving her partner and their autistic son. She says officers need tools to recognize when someone is struggling with a developmental disability, not being defiant.
Put these officers in the situation, know how to identify when someone is bipolar, autistic, PTSD. Everybody is not out to cause a problem. Majority of people these days, we don't want to deal with the cops because most people, even though they're not afraid, they just don't want to deal with them.
There are already several training programs across the country. Some use simulation exercises to help officers understand sensory overload. Others bring officers together with autistic persons for interactive learning.
There are a lot of families out here with convictions, with special needs children or disabled veterans, citizens even without disabilities that have criminal records.
The Houston County Sheriff's Office says deputies currently receive 2 one-hour courses a year on autism. They also must take a mandated course on de-escalation techniques. Patterson says that's a good start, but isn't enough. She now hopes to bring the issue to the Georgia legislature next year. Reporting in Houston County, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
Patterson now hopes to transform her petition into legislation that would require autism training for all emergency responders across the state. The Georgia Public Safety Training Center currently offers 2-hour-long online courses about autism and de-escalation tactics. And a historic spot in downtown Perry could get a new plan and a new look. We covered last summer's demolition of the century-old New Perry Hotel, but now the lot has a new owner. Hunter King explains what this could mean for the city.
Behind me is where the New Perry Hotel once stood. Now it's just dirt and grass, and not much has changed over the past few months, but one thing that has changed is the ownership group. Triple P Holdings purchased the property in July 2023 for $620,000. The company promised a 3-story mixed-use development with retail, office space, and apartments. Now, documents show Morris Bank bought the property in January for $2.2 million. That's more than 3 times the previous purchase price. Brian Wood, Perry's Director of Community Development, says the new owners haven't submitted any plans to the city. He says he's hearing that Morris might build its headquarters on the site. Under zoning rules, he says they've got the right to do that if they so choose.
We do not have any restrictions or on what the use of the property is other than what the zoning ordinance allows. So if they wanted to do a single use as just a bank, then that's what they can do.
Some people remain hopeful for a new development, whatever it is.
As sad as I was to see an historic monument go away, I'll be even happier to see, you know, a cool venue or restaurants or something like that.
Others want something that serves the community.
It would be great to have something there now that it's down, and something that hopefully can bring in a younger community, and not necessarily younger, but just something people can go do. I think that's what we need around here.
Wood says the city would prefer to see Triple P's original vision.
Obviously, the city would prefer to see some type of mixed-use development on that property. It's a high visibility parcel directly adjacent to downtown.
Reporting in Perry, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, advocates say that finding a place to call home as a low-income family is a national hardship. Across Houston County, a family can sit on the Housing Authority wait list for years. Here's how a new apartment development aims to speed up the wait. A 2024 census report says over 21 million tenants are cost burdened. That means they're spending more than 30% of their income on their rent.
People need places to say they can afford to pay for. Workforce housing, senior housing.
The same goes for Houston County. The federal HUD department set the 2025 fair market rent price just over $1,600 for a 2-bedroom. In Warner Robins, $1,300. Mayor LaRhonda Patrick says a recent town hall shows that seniors carry the heaviest burden, even those already living in affordable housing.
They're getting their rent increased every single year. It's not looking like it's income-based any longer.
And often they hear from service workers and military employees who struggle to buy groceries or pay utilities.
This is a real problem. So I want the community to be really supportive of developments such as this.
Specifically, a project coming just minutes from Robins Air Force Base.
I'm just so happy that they chose our site, chose our city in spite of the previous lawsuit.
You may remember the developer Woda Cooper for accusing the former mayor and city council of rejecting a previous project due to racial bias. Now, a federal judge found no evidence of that, and in 2023, the city paid $50,000 to settle the lawsuit. Now, the same company is back, partnering with the Warner Robins Housing Authority to shorten their wait list. They're building 90 apartment units, and 81 will be income-based.
This is going to be an answer to a small piece of that problem.
The company breaks ground Tuesday on the $23 million project, but Patrick says they need much more and a greater variety.
Now, last year we told you that the city hoped to open their own affordable townhome units sometime this year, but Mayor Patrick says that no developers signed on to make this vision a reality. Now they're starting their search again to grow affordable home ownership throughout the city. In new progress on the City of Warner Robins' first homeless shelter, Mayor LaRhonda Patrick says the Haven Hope House should be ready to go sometime this summer. She says they're in the final phase of renovations, and the city bought the building on Green Street about 2 years ago, and they last told us that they thought it would be ready sometime this month. The building's condition and construction delays slowed down the project, but Mayor Patrick says their homeless coalition is already helping people outside the building's walls.
We have helped successfully over 30 individuals to restart their lives with shelter that they pay for on their own, jobs that they're able to maintain their new lifestyle.
This summer, Patrick says their 50-bed facility will help women and men transition back into society. And she says they're keeping your tax dollars in mind. They're partnering with restaurants, churches, and federal programs like the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities to provide services. Now, the city says they'll keep partnering with local businesses to continue fundraising for the shelter. In Houston County Schools District, Bon Air and Perry Middle Schools each have over 1,100 students. The district says an ideal population for one middle school is only 800. And to make some space, they'll open a new middle school in 2027. Naomi Washington takes us to the south end of the county where the new school will stand.
The district says the building of Veterans Middle School will start here on this 40-acre space any day now. Right now, it's just a big empty field, but this is what Assistant Superintendent Chris Brown says Veterans Middle School will look like when it's complete.
This will be about a 167,000 square foot facility, which will house roughly 67 instructional units or classrooms.
With enough space for 1,000 students, School Board Chair Helen Hughes says they couldn't have done this development without the voters. The $55 million to build Veterans Middle School will come from the current education SPLOST.
So I want the public to know that our school board takes this opportunity and this responsibility very seriously. We take our fiduciary responsibility, and we want to make sure that we provide the best.
Veterans Middle School will be right across the street from Veterans High School. Brown says they discussed the traffic patterns ahead of breaking ground.
The current road, Pamela Greenway, will shift over the duration of this construction, and then both schools will have their own entrance and exit specifically dedicated for them, so we should not have any crossover of traffic.
Hughes says current Houston schools won't miss out on updates.
We also make sure that our existing facilities are renovated in a timely manner. Every summer, 2 schools are renovated to make sure that they're kind of up to date.
The district's plan to open Veterans Middle School will open up space at their current most crowded middle schools. In Houston County, Naomi Washington, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, this new school will become the district's 39th school. Hughes says they'll decide later which students will attend Veterans Middle School. And from middle school to high school now, here's a reason to smile. This prom season, 3 Houston County high schoolers had a night to remember thanks to a Warner Robins nonprofit and some local businesses. Seniors James Turner, London Rains, and Ariana McKenzie had a blast. They won the 4th annual Princess Prom giveaway. Nonprofit Greater Purpose Corporation hosts the giveaway and provides the gowns and the tux that you're seeing right now. And the clothes weren't the only thing in the giveaway. Hair, makeup, and these amazing pictures were also done all for free by Tamara Conciero, Precious Journey, and Marcus Jolly. And it was a hoppin' good time in Warner Robins Thursday as the city hosted its food truck roundup and an Easter egg hunt. Dozens of people flocked to Perkins Field for the exciting event. Children searched for the hidden eggs at the baseball field, and some people even sported some bunny ears. The Easter Bunny himself was also there taking pictures with children. Plus, he even brought out his friends Tinkerbell and Peter Pan along to play with the little ones.
Well, my family's from out of town, and so we brought them here mainly to see the Easter Bunny with Fairy Tales and Friends, and also some of their characters, but also to try out all the food and see the bounce houses and stuff, so that's been a big draw.
The event also featured bouncy houses, food vendors, and some face painting. And check this out, a rabid raccoon was recently found on Robins Air Force Base. Officials are urging pet owners to get their cats and dogs vaccinated against rabies. Rabies is deadly but preventative with some timely care. So for information, you can call the Robins Vet Clinic or Houston County Health. Now that's a wrap on what's happening throughout the Robins region this week. If you have a Houston County story that you want us to share, you can email us at news@13wmaz.com. And make sure you come back each Friday to get all of your Houston County news and the stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us.